Hello, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And as of this recording, here in the U.S., we do not yet know who our president is. Now, by the time you see this, maybe we will know, but it has been suspenseful, if you will, for many of the people in the United States and around the world as well. And are you really surprised that it's taking this long? I'm not. I don't know about you, but I am not as well. And it's just so interesting how, pro-Democrats are criticizing, the Republicans for cheating, and then the Republicans are criticizing the Democrats for cheating, all this kind of stuff, right? But here's the thing, is that those of us that identify with being of the light workers, whether or not you're a professional, healer, I'm not talking about being professional, but really holding the light, like that part of your soul purpose is really to hold the light when there is darkness. So there's a lot of work going on in the behind the scenes regarding healing related to this whole election and really the whole world, the COVID pandemic and everything like that. So sometimes we get so into our little world, like our family and our community, and we don't spread out and see the bigger picture and realize that there are literally millions upon millions of us light workers actually holding the space for all of humanity, Mother Earth, mass consciousness, and in this case, the United States. Case in point. So twice a day I do, you can call it global healing, although, there's universes involved, but, I just check in and tune in to see what can heal right now that I can be of assistance. And lately, there has been some interesting emotions that have cleared or have wanted to clear, which I've helped to clear from all of humanity and from the people of the United States. And interestingly, this was the day of the election, it was the same emotion. And this emotion actually is in the emotion code chart by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And I'm a certified emotion code and body code practitioner. So the emotion that was wanting to release was one of hopelessness. Now, the funny thing is that was not what I was guessing. Like I was like, oh, I wonder, what this emotion is. And when I was going through the chart, I was guessing it might be like fear or anxiety or something like that. But it's actually, or it was actually hopelessness. So that's very, very interesting. So you might, maybe you were able to tune in and feel some of that hopelessness. In my space, I was not personally feeling that, but I can certainly understand it. So there is, now helplessness and hopelessness are very, very similar in certain ways, but there's something called learned helplessness, and learned helplessness is something that can be manipulated. So if, for example, in I think mice or rat experiments in the distant past, and this sounds horrible, but anyway, we learned it in psychology class. So what they would do is they would have a cage, or they would electrify the floor of the cage and give these little shots, and it would shock the mouse, right? And they would like run in fear. And so just think about the mouse as us, okay? So they couldn't get away from it. No matter where they went in the cage, the whole floor was electrified, And so after a while of being, abused, if you will, or electrified, what the experimenters did was they actually raised one side of the cage so that the mouse could escape if they wanted to. And guess what happened? When the electrification happened, the mouse had learned just to be helpless, and it didn't move. It just sat there being electrified. Now, can you see the equivalent or corollary in human beings? If you can bring out the hopelessness and helplessness in human beings by varying degrees of manipulation, then it is very possible that there will be a percentage of them who will just give up. You know, my business is gonna go down the tubes anyway, whether, you know, be, you know, the red winds, the right, left wind, whatever, you know, why bother, right? And David Icke actually says it pretty well in his teachings recently about, you know, if you get too comfortable being helpless or hopeless, you know, you don't actually take action and you don't actually stand up for yourself. And you just learn to be kind of like, you know, just kind of go with whatever everybody else is thinking. You just like tune out and you're like, well, what's the point? You know, so think about it. Have you thought about that in the recent past? Or, you know, even felt it? Well, what's the point of me, blah, blah, blah? You know, the world's coming to the end anyway, you know, like, so there's some of that that is infective. So we want to be really cognizant and conscious that, hey, wait a second, that's not my thought. I don't choose that, right? And you can actually choose to like take it out, if you will, of your subconscious mind, if you know how to do that, you know, and you can even test for that kind of thing. So I think the hopelessness and helplessness is very, very, you know, together on that. So we do have to be careful about how we feel. And so here's the thing: is it's not easy for light workers, okay? I mean, it's sometimes harder in some ways because they feel so much. They feel what everybody else is feeling, that helplessness, that anger, the anxiety, all that kind of stuff. So they have to rein in some of their superpowers, if you will, so that they don't get overwhelmed by that. And their job is to hold the light, to hold the love, to hold the love in their hearts and to emanate that love and light throughout, you know, their lives. And it could be an 83-year-old grandmother who I'm talking about, who's a light worker, or it could be a 3-year-old that I'm talking about. Okay, it does not have to be, you know, a professional, you know, a professional healer. So just, if it gives you any comfort at all, just know that varying, to some varying degree, each of the light workers are doing their work for the community, for the bigger whole. I was on a group recently on Facebook, and somebody asked a question which is really interesting. He said, okay, so we're light workers. So just curious, what are you actually doing for your community? Okay, so, and I could feel the intention of that question. It was, you know, I had a bias before that I used to think that all these monks, you know, sitting on a, you know, a mountaintop somewhere in a monastery, praying and meditating all day long, you know, doing their, whatever they do, their qigong or kung fu or whatever it is. And that's what they do day in and day out. So I thought, and I thought, well, what are they doing for the community? Like, what are they doing for society? Like, they're just praying, and surely they're peaceful, you know, they're on a mountaintop, you know what I mean? Aside from maybe a saber-toothed tiger or something coming to eat them. I mean, you know, like there's none of the stressors that the rest of us have to deal with, right? So I was kind of biased, and that's how I felt this question was coming out of, you know, this person in this group. And but I have since learned and appreciated that when we get into that space of calm and peace and joy or bliss, and if we do it through meditation, for example, what happens is not just we are calm in here. That is not it. What we do is we set an energy or state of being. That state of being is like a light radius, like a bubble of light around us that affects positively other people around us. And where our attention goes, at least especially now with the ascension process, it's so much faster. Where our attention goes, it's like that bubble of light travels there as well, if you will. Travels, but you know, magically appears there. So when we're in that peace and calm within ourselves, we literally are holding this space for sometimes millions of people. So, you know, Power versus Force, David Hawkins' book, maybe you've read it, but you know, he talks about how a very small number of people holding a very high vibe can counteract many, many, many millions of other people holding a negative vibe. And so as a light worker, that's what we are doing. We're holding that energy. So it doesn't mean you don't do stuff as well. But I used to be really, really good at doing and not being. I'm really good at being and doing now, but I was really good at doing, not being. So I would force everything, you know, when somebody would say, oh, it'll all work out, I used to want to shake them and go, dang it, of course it's going to work out because I'm going to make it work out, right? So I was forcing, using my adrenals and like making things happen. And it's a struggle. Life is a struggle and it's stressful. And, you know, and I was doing that because I was addicted to stress. I totally was addicted to stress because if I felt stressful, that meant that I was doing something good in the world. I mean, I know that's a weird way of thinking it, but that's how I was thinking. Like subconsciously, if I'm stressed out, that must be, I must be being productive. If I'm being productive, that means I'm contributing to the world, and I must be good enough then, and I must be deserving of love. But unfortunately, that caused me to go down the path of fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, autoimmune disease, depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Okay, so not recommended. Not recommended. So what's a really cool thing is one of my teachers, Pat Jones, used to say to me, it's more about who you are being than what you are doing that really helps people. And it took me a while to figure out what the heck does that mean, you know? But I get it now. I get it now because when I'm emanating in that space of calm and that peace, that positively affects other people that I'm connected with, even if it's online. It doesn't have to be literally in my physical space. And so I can be peace. And what's really interesting is the universe rearranges itself to show me more of what I am emanating. So I get more peace coming to me as well from the outside world, which has been very fun. So I was like, oh, this is the shortcut. I do not have to force myself, you know, or force things. I can allow things to happen, set my state, set my intention and attention, and the universe does the work, or most of the work. It's pretty awesome. So that's that's our job as light workers. And some of you might be going, I'm on your mailing list, but I don't know if I'm a light worker. You know what? You're a light worker. you're on my mailing list. You're a light worker because in your heart is that love to want to help, to be of service, to have to make the world a better place, to make it better for your children, your clients, your family members, your friends, right? So you are a light worker, and then if you could set your state, then whatever you do or decide to do out in the world is amplified that much more. And so for this, Facebook guy, I actually, I said that I was a really good doer, and but it's more important to be, so you can be and do at the same time, and then you can sing a song. Be do 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 be. Okay, I had to add that in. All right, you're probably like, that is so corny, Dr. Karen, but it just popped up into my mind. Okay, it's not a song. I just made it up. Okay. All right. So yeah, so there will be continuing. I will focus. Definitely, we'll check on the U.S. Every day for a little bit, as well as all of humanity. And there's a lot of things going on in all of humanity. Last Spiritual Medicine Digest, I talked about how all of humanity was becoming a whole organism, and it's been very fascinating because literally there are like physical parts to all of humanity. And one of the things that grew out first was the heart, which I thought was very interesting. And I know some sensitive souls actually felt that in their own heart, this growth, this evolution. And then there was an evolution of all sorts of, different, what we would call organs in a human body. And there are other parts that are non-physical, if you will, that are evolving as well. So it's actually pretty interesting following this over time. The other interesting thing that is healing, or at least wants to heal this week, is ether. And well, I don't think so, but it's interesting at the synchronicity because I just finished watching, I think, the 5-season series of Haven, and they talked about the void, and they talked about the nothing, and they talked about, ether being the one that can create, which is true. Of course, in this particular series, it seemed like they were trying to make it look like it was scary, in a way. Like you can make troubles and gift people with it, and they could kill other people by accident, and things like that. But interestingly, the ether, which is the void and the material that is unseen between all of us, that connects all of us, that was traditionally called ether. That is evolving as well. Now, I really can't give you more details other than it's evolving, and I'm midwifing, midwifing anyway. That you can tell I don't practice this before I record, right? So helping it to be birthed. So this evolution of ether. So if you are doing the same thing, let me know, what you're doing, because that's the message that I'm getting, and I don't need to know more. So on a daily basis, I'm working on ether. Now, the reason this came up was because I check on the elementals, because we were having some issues with wind and damp and all that kind of stuff. So I just check on the elementals and the elements themselves and see if they need rebalancing. And from time to time they do. And this one cropped up this past week, ether, as and some people just call it spirit. They don't call it ether. So it's not, it's not the air, it's not the fire, it's not the water, it's not the earth, it's ether, which is kind of like all of the above, so to speak. So, but if you know something about it, please comment below this video. I would totally appreciate about it. Any insights that you have about how the ether is evolving this past week. So we talked a little bit about, the calm and the chaos and how important that is. Well, the good news is that the Navigating the Clickety-Clack book, How to Stay Peace-Filled in a Seemingly Toxic World, did hit #1 in 3 categories in the US and multiple categories in Australia and other countries. So we're super, super thankful for that. And if you did buy a book, thank you so much for supporting us in the book launch. And we had the book launch party, it was just so amazing to hear the wisdom from all of these different authors. Really, really, really amazing. And so the Navigating the Clickety-Clack book is perfect if you have not felt completely peaceful throughout the election. Anybody that is not, give them the book or give them the link for the book, okay? They really need it. And Monday's radio show is perfect because I'm going to be interviewing the 3 sweaty, successful moms. I know that's the name of their company. I love it. Leslie, Kristen, and Miriam. And, the topic is going to be like, how do we raise the next generation of heart-centered children, like children that are leaders that lead from their heart? And, it's all about being able to be centered and calm in the chaos. And so I'm really looking forward to interviewing them on Monday, Light Warrior Radio Show at 12 noon Eastern. So I'll post the link near this video so you can check it out on Monday. And if you can't, do it live, you can bookmark it as well. And it'll be recorded. So very, very, very cool. Really looking forward to that Monday radio show, because who could use more calm? Everybody, right? The other thing too is if you are watching this and you missed Friday's introduction to intuitive decision making, where we were teaching divine muscle testing, then I'm going to post the replay link here as well. And it's for a limited time only. It's an absolutely free 90-minute masterclass on how to do divine muscle testing, which is something that I teach to my Topican Healing Level 1 and Level 2 training students. But I thought I would do it actually for everyone and make it public, because I believe it's really important to really be able to tap into divine wisdom right now, because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on in the media and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And it's really hard to know what the truth is, but your heart knows what the truth is. And if the divine can flow through you, you can get true answers. We're going to teach you how to do that. So if you did not get a chance to see that training live, I'll post the replay link. Again, it's for a short time only, because I am launching it's a mini program. It's called Intuitive Decision Making Roadmap. And this introduction to intuitive decision making is the first module of this 4-module course, which I'm offering for free. So people can start getting used to, getting their divine wisdom through their body. And last but not least, I did want to share with you, we did have to delay the Women's Business Maverick Summit for a number of weeks. But as far as I know, it is happening next week. So starting on Monday, I will be one of the first speakers up, and I'm going to be talking about the benefits for women of having a direct sales business, especially if you're into health and wellness. It's a great way to start your own business without the huge outlay of costs of starting your own business. And then we'll talk a little bit about what to look for if you're looking for a company to be with. You don't have to join my company, it'd be great, but you don't have to join my company. But what to look for, how to ask questions, that kind of thing, so that it's a fit. And direct sales companies are, especially the health and wellness ones, are doing very well right now because people are all focused on health and wellness to some degree. So their sales has not missed a beat, and in fact has actually grown during the pandemic. Not a lot of businesses can say that, except for maybe the mask making business. But the mask making business does not help people become healthier. Sorry to say. Okay. But if you're aligned with a business, an ethical business that is helping people to experience greater health and wellness, then you're doing a big service to a lot of people and earning money as well. So anyway, get off my soapbox. But so if you're interested in checking that out, I will put the link near this video as well if you haven't already registered, and we will be starting next week. So until next time, take care, and remember to emanate that love and light from your heart, staying calm in the chaos, and feel free to post a review of the Navigating the Clickety-Clack book on Amazon, because we have a special gift for you. So if you purchase the book, we have a gift. I'll put the link below. And then if you actually write a review, we also have a gift, which is a free group healing class with me. It was super popular. Last time we launched the book, there were 52 people on the call. We did healings on everyone. So, and that's limited space. So definitely you want to get your review in as soon as possible. That class is going to be in later November. Until next time, lots of love. Bye for now.